I'm Lorelai.
And I am Leah.
Welcome on I'm an Equestrian podcast. We founded this podcast 2 years ago, and today we are thrilled to release this new episode in English. In this podcast, we chat with great equestrians and seek to better understand our sport. What is it to be a horseman? What does it cost? What do they dream of? We hope that each of our episodes will participate to strengthen your passion for horses and to empower you as a horse lover, a horse rider, and a person.
I must start this episode by wishing you a wonderful year. I hope that 2022 will bring you all success, joy, loads of love, and before all, a tremendous health, as this might be the most important things these days. May this year be filled with passion and dreams come true for each one of you. I Am an Equestrian will also be there to keep you company and nourish your love and passion for horses and equestrianism. Today's amazing episode was recorded at Geneva World Cup with the showjumping world number 1 and Olympic champion Peder Fredricson. Could there be a better start for the year? I believe not. If his name spread all along last summer, this is definitely due to his astonishing achievement with his crazily great horse All-In. They together brought home no less than 2 medals from Tokyo, a gold team medal along with the Swedish team and the silver individual medal. But let's remind that this amazing duo already performed at Rio 2016 Olympics, where they were the only ones to wrap the competition up without any single fault all along the 6 courses, and were eventually awarded with the silver medal. Peder Fredricson is a one-of-kind rider. Discreet, kind, humble. That day in Geneva, he granted us 1 hour of his time to talk about him, his relations with horses, his performances, and told us about the journey that led him to be world number 1. Peder also shared his philosophy, his dreams, and next challenges. I truly hope that you will like this episode, and if you do eventually enjoy listening to this conversation, then do not forget to share your feedback with us.
Today's episode is sponsored by the Australian company Scoot Boot. As you most certainly know it, our guest Peder Fredricson competes and performs with barefoot horses. He explains in this upcoming episode the significant improvement he experienced while transitioning his horses to barefoot. You might assume that training barefoot horses is reserved to riders living close to sandy forest or sticking to their top-level sand arenas. And if you have ever wondered how to transition your horse from shod to barefoot and still be able to hack, well, listen carefully then, as Scoot Boots might very much interest you. The reasons for transitioning your horse from shod to barefoot are many. The compelling performance and health improvements that come from keeping your horse's hooves bare are being acknowledged by more and more equine vets, farrier, and top-level riders around the world. But training barefoot horses requires some adaptation, including using hoof boots. Scoot boots are world-class hoof boots that were designed by a farrier for the barefoot horse to allow free and natural movement across all terrain. They are perfect for all riding disciplines and are highly suitable to dependable rehab as well. Many riders also jump up to 1.45 meters in Scoot boots. You might have spotted Scoot boots on Alexander Zetterman's story, for instance, or even on Peder Fredricson's Instagram feed. Indeed, Peder uses Scoot boots to hack and train his horses at home. The Scoot boots are constructed of a very strong thermoplastic urethane, making them extremely robust and lightweight. They are designed to fit for all hooves that are naturally or barefoot trimmed and will provide a very secure fit. Scoot boots are sold across the globe and count more than 500 distributors now. Read more about barefoot transitioning and Scoot boots on their website www.scootboots.com. Let's do it. Welcome on I'm an Equestrian, the podcast. Hello, Peder. Well, before we start, I must take some time to express how grateful and thrilled we are to be able to record this episode with you. And to contextualize, I contacted you on WhatsApp and you replied within less than 5 minutes and told me that our media looked great and that you would be pleased to meet us here in Geneva. So thank you very much for being here and for taking this time to share your story with us. Peder, you are world number one and have been for quite a long time now. You are Olympic gold medalist and one of the most admired and respected riders in the world. We have talked to many of them like this week, saying that we were going to record this episode, and all of them, every single one of them is quite impressed and admiring of your career. The purpose of this podcast is to dig into your life and journey, and we want to understand how you became such champion. And when we watch you riding, when we consider your journey so far, if we think about the way you managed your championships in Tokyo, we can only wonder what path got you to be such horseman. So can you take some time to tell us this story, your story from the beginning and through each step that led you to who and where you are today?
That was some
long
beginning,
story.
Some beginning. Well, thank you for all the kind words. Well, you asked me a very big and a question that requires a big answer. But first of all, I think I have a passion for horses. I have a passion for animals. Actually, I find it very interesting with all animals, how they behave. And since I was a kid, I always liked animals. When we have animals on the farm, I always like to spend time with them, like with the dogs and the sheep and chicken or whatever. I find it very interesting, and I still do. And I think that's the main thing. And then I think that my interests have. I've been inspired to develop things at different times in life. Like first I started to ride, it was just because I liked the animals, I found it interesting, and then I started to riding and it went quite good, but after a while I realized I was just riding on feeling, and I didn't know so much. So then when I realized that, it went quite much worse for a while, because I started to think why I was doing it and try to learn things, and then you lose your feeling a little bit. But this is necessary step to develop. You have to learn dressage riding and so on, and then obviously you have to be very lucky to have the right people around you. I was lucky. I grew up in a place where a lot of good horsemen. My father was a vet, and I was going in the same school as two other boys that were riding, and they had parents that were really good. One rode the Olympic Games in 3-day eventing, so I trained a lot for him, and one thing led to another.
Peder, I'd like to ask you if you can describe your personality. We have watched perhaps all the interviews of you that are available online, and you look very discreet, maybe a bit shy. What do you think are your main traits of character inside and outside the ring?
Oh, this is difficult questions you're asking me.
We like difficult questions.
It's very difficult to describe yourself, obviously. I think I'm a quite calm person. I'm not so competitive like my wife, for example. She's very competitive. Like if we would play a social game, she loses, she gets very angry, and obviously I couldn't care less. Also when I come to a show, it's not like I'm really gonna win. But of course, when it doesn't go my way, I get annoyed. It's more like horses is my life, and I'm training them, and the competition is sort of a proof if you do it good or bad. And if I don't do well on competitions, week after week, it starts to really annoy me, and then I have to make some changes in the way I'm training, or in the way we are managing the horses, or something I'm doing maybe. So that is probably something that have developed me, that if I wasn't annoyed when it was going bad, I wouldn't develop. So in that sense, I suppose that's also some kind of competitiveness. And for the rest, well, what should I say? I think I'm a family man. The family means a lot to me, and I think when you have high ambitions in a lifestyle as horses, it takes a lot of time. So you have to make your choices in life, and my choices have been the horses and my family. These are the most important things for me, and then I have to say no to a lot of other things.
Do you think that you could have pursued another career? Because I think that you are an artist, aside from your career. Do you think that horses should always have been your career, or have you at some point in your life considered anything else?
No, not really. I'm a graphic designer by education, and I've been working with that and also as a painter. And for a long time I did both, like 50% horses and 50% my other career. And it was just until maybe, let's say, 10 years ago, I decided to put a lot of more effort into the horses. So I don't know, I might pick it up later on also. Something I enjoy to do.
What, Peder, is your oldest memory with horses?
My oldest memory, I think, would be riding my Shetland pony together with my father. He was holding me in the lunch line and I was riding beside him. He was probably trotting and I was cantering as fast as I could to keep up the pace. And I was bouncing a lot, and then I fell off, and then he had to stop and I had to climb up again, and then we went on like that. That would probably be my first memory.
You did compete as a high-level eventing rider before switching to show jumping. Can you tell us how this discipline has shaped your riding and most probably your career?
That's correct. Yeah, I started as a show jumping rider and eventing rider. It was mainly because one of my school teammates in school, my classmates, his father was a Olympic event rider. So he trained me, and then it was natural to start with eventing. And to be honest, I think it's a very good start for any horse person, regardless of discipline. I think eventing is a very good start because you have to do a bit of dressage, a bit of show jumping. You have to learn to get your horse fit and ride in this cross country. So I'm very happy I could get that start. It's also nice to have done 2 careers, I think. I wouldn't like to have had it any other way.
And you notably trained with Mark Todd, who is an immense rider, talented rider. Can you tell us a little bit about how you made the most of your time and experience with Mark, and also what kind of tools did you take to bring into your show jumping career?
That's correct. I was with Mark for a few years, and he's an amazing rider and horseman, and a very nice person also. I must say I learned a lot from the years I was with Mark, riding-wise, but also management of horses. He has a way of making it very uncomplicated, but still very, very good. And I think that's one key to success, not to make things too complicated. And he had a very good management. I think that his horses, turned them out in the field together and make sure they were healthy and doing well, and always treated the horses really well. No, I'm very grateful to have spent the years with him and learned from him.
Is this where you took inspiration to build the system you have now?
Yes, I think probably if I should mention one other person that meant a lot to me in my career, I would for sure name Mark Todd. I picked up a lot of things there.
Peder, can you tell us how those 2 disciplines work in your country, in Sweden? Are there any converging paths between the 2 of them? More generally, do you think that show jumping should at some point take inspiration from the eventing world and vice versa?
I think for sure you should always keep an open mind, and I think show jumping is getting quicker and quicker. So I think actually in show jumping I think we should look at for sure eventing, but also towards racing, because now, for example, at the Olympic Games in the jump off we go at high speed. It's very small margins. So I think in the future, things like they have already had for a long time in racing, like lightweight equipment and these things, have the horses fit, and it's going to come also more and more into show jumping. But it's a good question. I think it's very important to be open-minded and try to learn from the best in each discipline.
When we consider the best riders in the world, we might kind of classify them into two categories. There are some riders that look like they enter the arena to win, like every single class. You know, when they get into the arena, they just want to win. And we can take as an example Ken Farrington, I think. And on the other side, some riders seems to be more driving and leading one horse toward a specific goal. And like a single class suddenly becomes just one step towards the goal. And I like to think that you belong to this last category. And I think that Pedro Venice, we just talked with him, earlier, thinks the same. So do you agree with us?
No, I just try to win every class, but I don't. And then when I win occasionally, everybody thinks I made a good plan to win at that class.
Like in Tokyo?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but obviously you have to choose your classes a bit. But I think Ken Farrington also does that. But it's an interesting thing, and I think that the willingness to win is very important actually. And if you can do it in a way that doesn't take too much out of your horses, I wouldn't mind winning every time, every competition.
That's funny you said that you did not really plan, what happened in Tokyo, because we had the exact opposite impression. When we watched you riding, we had the feeling that you had prepared and planned the whole step. Was it the case, or?
Yeah, in this case it was actually, because Olin, he was out for a long time. Yeah. And I tried to get him back, and I knew we had Olympic Games, and I had a few horses on the line that could be possible, and Olin was one of them. So with him, it was totally like that. The only goal for him last year was the Olympic Games. So all the shows coming up was only preparation for the Olympic Games, and that was the plan. But with horses you can have plans, but very rarely they follow out just the way you planned. But this time, luckily, everything followed the plan, and every show coming up towards the Olympics, he was like, in the beginning of the year, he was not in shape at all. He was overweight and not fit, but then slowly he got better and better. And even at the last show, I felt he was not really there, but I hoped, in a few weeks he would be. And when he stepped up the plane in Tokyo, he just reached the peak. So I was. I had a plan, but in a way I was lucky that everything worked out my way, and then it was just unbelievable the way he could perform there at his age one more time. I was so, amazed by that little horse. He's a real star.
That was amazing. Mm.
I was also really, really surprised actually that he could do it. I couldn't have expected that he would go that well again.
About Tokyo, we all know the eventual result. You won the silver individual medal and the gold team medal. All riders in the world agree on one point. Those medals were so well deserved, and that might be the best news about this Olympics. But if we look at what happened for the other riders, other nations, and throughout the world competition, sport was tough. Can you tell us about the way you felt and experienced this competition? And this will bring us to talk about the new format that was implemented in Tokyo.
It was a new format for us all, and we knew this was going to be in Tokyo, and we were a bit suspicious when it came out, but we also realized that if we're going to be able to compete at these Olympic Games successfully, we as a team, we have to accept the way it is, and instead of putting energy into complaining about this system, we have to try to be as well prepared as possible, meaning we have to mentally be prepared for the changes it will be, and also we have to really know all the rules, so we're not going there and we're not really know what's going to happen and so on. Like, we have to be really well prepared, and I think our chef d'équipe and we as a whole team, we went there with a very positive energy that we were going to try to win a gold medal. So that was a really good feeling to coming in a positive mood to the Olympics.
We can only remind our listeners that you went to Tokyo as an already multi-medalist rider. You participated to your first Olympic Games at age 20 in eventing. You then became a real pillar of the Swedish team and won the silver medal in Athens 2004, where you also finished fourth in individual. 2016 Rio, you climbed the second step of the individual podium with another silver medal around the neck. You were, back then, the only rider to end the championships without a single pole down. And this year, 2021, Tokyo, where you earned two so well-deserved medals, as we said. After so many victories, medals and amazing performances, what can you dream of? What can a rider dream of? Where do you find the motivation to get up every morning and keep working so hard?
Yes, it's... I had this year has been fantastic because the last couple of like a gold medal, that's something as a rider or any sportsman, that's the thing you can normally only dream of, because it's you've got one shot every fourth year, and to expect that you will, especially when you're in a combination with a horse, it's actually a gold medal is something you cannot really expect to achieve. I had 3 silver, so when I got this gold, I was really, really grateful that it actually happened, that I got a gold medal, because there's so many amazing riders out there in the world that are super good that would never get a gold medal. So that's for sure you have to fight for it, but you also have to be really, really lucky to get it. So that was one goal that I'm really happy to have achieved. And the other goal was that I had for the last couple of years was to try to become number 1 on the world ranking. That's a different kind of goal, because that's something you can work on every weekend. So it's a different kind of goal. This is a goal you can actually shape much more yourself. It haven't got anything to do with luck. It's only about building up a good string of horses, building up a good system that you can be competitive for a long time with the horses and so on. And to have achieved these 2 things in 1 year means a lot to me, and I don't really know how I'm going to move away from this. At the moment I'm just a little bit exhaling a little bit and just enjoying that I actually reached these goals. And I'm 50 years old now, and I don't know what my next step is. For sure it's not going to be like a very aggressive thing to move forward. It's going to be things in life that I enjoy. I enjoy horses and riding and working with animals, so for sure I'm going to continue with that, but in what way is yet to see.
And we're here at Geneva. You were riding the top 10 final yesterday. Do you feel like you're riding with less pressure than before you reached those goals, or is there no difference and you still have the same pressure and you still want to keep being world number 1 and maybe to keep pursuing another gold medal in Paris, It's a never-ending process.
No, it's actually a lot less pressure.
Okay.
A lot less, because when you have the goal, you want to be number 1 on the ranking list, then you have pressure every week. And if you don't perform, you're further away from the goal. And I told myself and I told my team and my family, like, once I reach that goal, I'm not going to try to fight to stay there. Once I cross that finish line, I'm done. I don't mind if I stay because I like the horses, like to ride, but I'm not gonna do whatever I can just to stay on that position, because that's a goal I reached, and that's like so. So in that sense, I'm much more relaxed actually. That's probably why it didn't go so good.
It was good. You did not win, but it was good.
You talked about that. You went both to Rio and Tokyo with the same horse, all in. We know how difficult it is to get to train, preserve and bring horse to one single major competition. But managing to keep this horse at his best level for so long, so many years, through so many competitions, that is something both unusual and remarkable. We would like to ask you, how did you manage all in over years, and more generally, can you explain the way you manage your horses' careers?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good and important question you're asking, because that is also, I think, why I managed, because I had for a few years I had a goal to become number one on the ranking list. But I never managed because I went up and then I was close, and then my horses were injured and I had to take a break. And some points, all horses were injured actually, at some points a few and so on. But the last 1.5 year, 2 years, I was lucky to have all my horses going, no lame horses. And that makes a big difference for the management from all the horses, because if you have enough horses and they're all sound, you can give them the breaks they need, and you can make a good plan, and you can manage in a successful way. To be honest, I think there's a few things I have done that I've changed. It's very difficult to say exactly what is what with horses, why and so on, because there's so many factors. But the only things I have changed, because I have the same food, I have the same tracks, I have the same management at home. The things I've changed is to ride without shoes on the horses, which means that they also can go together in the field. And I do believe that that's the only thing I have changed. And after I changed that, the horses are much more comfortable and sounder. And I don't know what else it should be actually, but...
That actually was one of the questions we wanted to ask and we planned to ask you, and maybe I'll just jump into this topic. So riding barefoot horses has become more popular, and I wanted to know, as the first question, was it part of a process of you trying to get closer to your horse's natural state, or was it an attempt to be more competitive, at first?
Yeah, it's I'm 50 now, I've been riding my whole life, and up until a couple of years ago I would never have imagined that taking off the shoe on any horse, because this is just not what you do, and this is not the way I'm grown up. But then it started with, I had one horse, very good horse called Hansson, that was lame for a long time. He had a problem in the hind leg, and we treated him and did all the things with the vet and everything we could do, but we couldn't get him back. And then I thought, I'm going to take the shoes off and turn him out in the field, because in the end I said I don't want to keep on treating him and so on. Either I'm going to retire him or give him a long break and so on. So we took off the shoes, and then when I took them off, I just saw he was moving more comfortable. I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. I don't know why I tried, but I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. And I had very good result. So at some point I only had him, but then he was going really good, and I fixed his feet myself, and I learned quite a bit. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to try with another horse that was not so sound, and I got very good result with that horse. And then I was thinking, well, maybe if I get very good result with horses that are not comfortable, maybe why don't try with take them off before they get uncomfortable. So I started to take off from a few horses, but this was very new for me. I learned a bit from Julian Epaillard, which was very friendly and helped me a lot, and he's a great horseman, and I learned a lot from him. But I think also before in my horse life, the horse's hoof has always been a bit kidnapped by the farrier. I never worked with looking after the feet myself, but now when I can fix the horse's feet myself, I feel I get closer to the horses, and I can help them in a much more in a way with my feeling. You can shape the feet in a way you feel the horse is comfortable, because when you ride and you jump a horse, you can feel how it moves, you can feel how it lands, and you feel if it's comfortable or not. I think as a farrier, they're very good on shoeing, but they don't ride the horses, and they don't jump them, and they don't, So when I can do my horse's feet myself, I can also feel the result straight away. I can feel, if this is good or bad, or what do I need to do, and then in that way you can learn a lot. It's good for the management of the horses. That's my opinion.
The partner of our episode is actually one of your partners, Scootboot. Can you tell us about these products and how they happen to help you in your daily work?
Yes, because when you take off the shoes from the horses, it's good for the soundness, and on the fiber sand, you don't really need any shoes because it's very soft. And I must say the horses are very comfortable jumping on that. But if you want to go out hacking, or you want to maybe turn the horses out in a field with some stones and so on, then you need to have protection from the hoofs. And then I use scoot boots to protect the hoofs in between the shows and so on.
Here's some words your brother, Jens, expressed about you in an article in the French magazine Grand Prix, so I'll quote. Peder is a true horseman, but before or never is he conservative, and that is quite rare in this industry. He does use traditional techniques and knowledge, but he always keeps moving forward. He has this capacity of being willing to try new stuff. People often consider new things in a negative way because they are afraid of trying, but Peder, instead of talking about it, he will try. He ain't scared, and that is one of his best quality. What do you think about that?
That's 100% right. I love to try new things.
And is this how you thought about taking off, the shoes and everything?
Sure. You have to try, because there's so many people I've spoken to, and they said, "No, I don't like the barefoot. I don't like it." And then you ask them if they tried. No, they haven't tried it, but they don't like it. And that's, in my opinion, you can't say you like something or you don't like it if you never tried it. I'm all for trying things. And if it doesn't work, you can always go back. But in my opinion, that's the way to move forward. Try things. If it works, you keep it. If it doesn't work, you go back. And that's, in my opinion, that's the way forward. But, I think it's what kind of personality you are.
We were often told in our episodes that the Olympics are a competition like no other, that this championship is so spectacular, so competitive and quite unique. Do you agree with such statement? Can you share your feeling?
Yes, of course. I think the Olympics is the most important show we have, because if you win the European Championship or you win the World Championship, it means a lot, but it's mainly horse people that follow it. If you win the Olympic Games, your whole nation will follow you, or the whole world will follow you. So it's a huge impact. And knowing that, the pressure is on, and you only get one chance every 4th year. So in your career, you don't have many chances to achieve these moments. So for sure, the pressure is on. But in my opinion, that's when the sport is good, when the pressure is on. If you don't like that, there's all sorts of levels you can compete on with less pressure.
So I'm going to talk about something that's funny. We were told yesterday that when you walk the course, you have a piece of paper and you take notes. Is that right?
Yes.
And I also had watched a video of you where we can see you taking quite a long time to visualize the track before riding a class. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of your mental preparation to these performances? How do you work and what do you write on this paper?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was now it goes easier. In the beginning, when I was new in the sport, I had a lot of people commentating it because it looks funny, but it's my way of doing it. And when you're world number one, it's easier to get away with it. But for me, the mental preparation is very important when you're going to ride a class. And what I do is, before I walk the course, I always try to find the course plan. And I learn the course in my memory, how in which order the fences go. So I know the course and I know the jump off. And then when I walk the course, I take notes how many meters it is in between each fence and how many strides I'm going to ride it and in what way I'm going to ride it, if it's forward or backwards, or if I should keep an outside line or an inside line. I have made codes that I write for myself, and I do it like every week, so it comes very natural for me. And then I put it away and I write also the maximum time and all the details I need to know to be well prepared. I write down on one piece of paper, like the starting list, how many I have before me, and all the things I need to know I have on this piece of paper. And then I put it in my pocket and then I can relax. And then I go out and then I visualize the course. What I do is I'm standing, I close my eyes, I see myself, I feel myself riding the course the way I want to ride this horse in this course. And then I move. If I'm going to turn to the right, I move to the right. If I'm going to turn to the left, I turn to the left. So anybody watching me looks really, really stupid. I've seen it also. And, you know, in the beginning I was walking away so nobody could film me and so on. But now, fuck it, I do it whatever I stand because I don't care. But it looks funny anyway. But for me, it's a very good way because then I get the feeling when I walk the course, I have the course in my head. But when I visualize the course, I get the feeling from my head to my stomach and my body, the feeling I want to have with my horse in the ring. And it's not only like what order to jump the fences, but exactly know if it's 5 forward and 4 waiting. You know, I get the rhythm, I get the feeling, you know, how I want to do it. And then I visualize that until I, in my mind, get it perfect. So then when I'm finished, it feels like I already done the course a few times. And then I get on my horse, I warm up, and when I have 2 riders left to go, I jump off, I do it one more time, get on, jump 1 vertical and go in the ring. And that way I do it at every single class, and that makes me, I feel I'm well prepared to go in the ring. That puts me in the right state of mind.
Can we look at one paper sometimes? You have one?
Yes.
Yeah, you do? Wow.
Yeah, I have it here, yeah. So here you go. Here I have the timing for today, when I should school the horse, what time I should walk the course, what time I should get on, when the class starts. Here I have, this was the combination class, so it was not so much, but here's this is from fence number 2 to fence number 3 is 32 meters. I'm going to ride that on 7 outside.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep the outside line on 7 strides. And here is from fence number 7 to fence number 8. It's 22.5 meters. They're going to be 5 short strides. This is the jump off. This is all the courses, and this is how many strides I'm going to do in between.
Incredible. I love it.
So this is just the way for me, because I'm quite unorganized normally. So this is the way I managed to be a bit more organized.
I don't know if it was you, Peder, but on your Instagram page a couple of days ago, you wrote, "Nothing makes me prouder than sharing the annual award for the most significant Swedish sports achievement of the year with Malin Bergard and Henrik von Eckermann." And this made me wonder, do you consider yourself as a true team rider, team player? I am asking that question because we met the French eventing rider, Karim Lagouag, a couple of weeks ago, and Karim told us that he actually is way better as a team rider than as an individual one. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, we have a great team, I must say. We're lucky that we have a very, very good team spirit in the Swedish team. Ever since I went over from eventing to show jumping, I came in, it was basically the same team, because Malin and I, we won the silver medal in Athens together. And Henrik, he was, I known him my whole life. And also our chef de keep and so on. We are a very, very strong team with I think I couldn't have better teammates. And that makes, of course, very enjoyable to ride team competitions. But I also think that one reason that why we are such a good team together is that we also let every team member be individual. We don't try to be different when we ride in a team than when we ride individual. So let's say when we're walking the course, it's not that we have to do everything together. We know that we're there for each other. If somebody needs help, it's just to ask, then you know you're going to get the help. But we're not running around trying to help each other and taking energy, you know what I mean? So and I think that's really good team spirit, when you trust each other so much that you don't have to show it. You know you're there for each other, and you can relax, and you stand up for each other. But you don't need to how should I say, make an effort to build the team's special team thing. It's just there anyway.
I understand. Okay.
We are almost finished. I have one question and then the last one, which is very easy. But my question was, are you aware of the fact that you embody so many values and the horsemanship? Like all riders we have been able to talk to, like Pedro just before, but even other riders we met, both yesterday, we talked about you and we said that we were going to record this episode. And every one of them say that you are such an inspiration and you are leading the way, you know, towards a better sport and towards a cleaner sport and everything. Are you aware of that and are you proud of that?
No, I'm not aware of it at all. You know, I feel really, really proud and happy when you say it. You know, it's most certainly it's nothing I am aware of. I'm really, really grateful for those words.
Yeah.
And the last question?
Yeah.
The last question. Now that you got all the titles a sportsman can dream of, what are your next goals and challenges?
Good question. I'm just going to finish this year, you know, try to enjoy and be happy, because that's something I haven't really done before, because I've always been on a journey, try to be number one on the ranking and try to win a gold medal. Now, this year I've actually achieved it, so I'm going to take the luxury to enjoy a bit and to relax a little bit, and probably I'm going to have terrible results from now on.
Well, thanks a million, Peder. Really, it was an honor. Thank you very much.
We take it in Swedish next time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's a wrap. This episode is already finished. If you did like it, if you enjoyed listening to this conversation, do not forget to come share your feeling and feedback and thoughts about it with us on Instagram. Send us a private message or share 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. This will help us a lot. Also, as you know it, or as you have heard it, we are French and our podcast is initially French. So if you want to help us, share and send the link to all your English-speaking equestrian friends so that they can discover the podcast and listen to this episode and the former one in English with Daniel Blumen. We have already recorded another episode in English, so stay tuned because another one will be released very soon.